Prop 61 about prescription drug prices.
Yeah, it was designed to stop price gouging. Senator Bernie Sanders is backing the yes vote, but some veteran groups are against the measure.
Proposition 61 is a very, very important step forward. It will be great for the taxpayers of California, and it will be a real blow against this greedy industry that will reverberate all over America. So I hope that Proposition 61 passes.
Prop 61 is deeply flawed. It would raise costs for veterans, reduce access for others, and cost taxpayers more.
Now, those are just two of the commercials running. There are a lot more than that.
They're on all the time, especially now with all the election coverage. It affects a couple state agencies. It's not going to apply to people with private insurance. It's not going to apply to cover California or Medicare, but it could save the state some money when they're buying drugs for about 5 million people, more or less.
All right, we have Jamie Court, the president of Consumer Watchdog, with us. Good morning. And Kathy Fairbanks from the No on Prop 61 campaign. And I just want to tell you, if you're just at home watching the commercials, you don't know what to think, because it seems like the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. Let's say I, as an individual person living in the state of California, if this passes and you're for it passing, how does it affect me?
Well, look, you're a taxpayer, and this says the state gets the lowest price for prescription drugs. It buys it in bulk, doesn't pay any more than the VA price. And we all pay for prescription drugs through health insurance, through other programs. If the state of California starts paying less and you're not getting the discount through Medicaid, you know what? One day employers and health insurers are going to get the same discount because we're a lot more than other countries.
So you're saying it's kind of a trickle down here to everybody
It's the road.
else.
It's the beginning of the road to cheaper drugs, to getting the bulk discounts that every other country in the world gets. And what they don't tell you in the ads is that $90 million behind those ads against Prop 61 was from the drug makers. The drug makers whose profits over the last 10 years have gone up 20%, literally hundreds of billions of dollars, the top 10 drug makers. It's an outrageous thing, and they only gouge us in America. California is saying no, and that's why Sanders is against it. For it, and that's why the drug companies are against it. And this veteran issue is really a red herring, because the VA is guaranteed to get the lowest price at the federal level. The veterans have their co-pays locked in by federal law. It can't go above what it is right now ever. But the drug companies don't want to come out and say they're against Prop 61, because that's the best argument for it. Why would drug companies spend $90 million against Prop 61?
But some of the opponents
because
say
it saves money. That's the only reason.
Not what's going to happen, right, Kathy?
Yeah. In fact, people are frustrated about drug prices. Absolutely. They're worried, they're scared, they're angry. Proposition 61 isn't the way to address it in California. Jamie mentioned taxpayers. The independent nonpartisan legislative analyst evaluated Prop 61, called it highly uncertain, and identified a way in which the state could actually pay more for drugs, not less, if Prop 61 passes. CalPERS also looked at Prop 61, found that it could lead to decreased access to medicines for CalPERS enrollees. It worried its administrative costs could go up. That affects taxpayers. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs also evaluated 61 because it is tied to the VA is tied to Prop 61, the lowest price. They worry their costs could go up by $3.8 billion. Jamie's right. There are federal protections in place for the VA pricing, but that's only a 24% discount. The VA negotiates additional discounts with drug manufacturers that can be much lower.
The problem I have
that's
is
what's
that
at risk.
The veterans are not going to pay more. And what I
no,
have a
that's,
problem
you don't know that.
Well,
Prop 61 can't what the federal government does.
Well, what I do know is that the co-payments that veterans pay are capped under federal law.
Right now they are.
And they will never go up.
Right now they are.
They will never
go up.
Well,
then how would the VA make up a $3.8 billion hole? If that's they can cut services or they can pass along the cost.
Drug makers are hiding behind the veterans. I would be fine if
I would not hide behind the legislative analyst. We're not hiding behind CalPERS.
Why nowhere in these ads do we say that there are drug makers spending $90 million against Prop 61? For what reason? To save veterans money? No, they're doing it to make more money for themselves. And that's the problem, is that the public is deluged with 17 initiatives, and confusion and doubt is your weapon. If you want to
confusion and doubt is the result of Proposition 61. That's the big unknown. The legislative analyst said that. We have 200 groups that are opposed to Prop 61. Veterans, as Jamie mentioned, 24 veterans group. They paid their veterans group $50,000. The gentleman in the ads.
I didn't pay my veterans group anything.
Well, the Yes on 61 campaign did, excuse me. California Medical Association is opposed to 61. California Taxpayers is opposed to 61. HIV and AIDS groups who you'd think might be supporting it because of the funder of Prop 61, they're actually raising red flags, talking about how this could impact.
We're showing a poll here right now where Prop 61 seems to be very popular.
Well, it's because it's a simple proposition. Look, it says that the state of California is going to buy drugs and not pay more than the Veterans Administration. And so it's a very simple proposition. It's very hard to cast doubt on that, but most of those groups, frankly, a lot of them, I've seen in other campaigns, have been paid for by drug company money. Bernie Sanders, AARP, California Nurses Association, my group, Consumer Watchdog, I fight for consumers every day.
You were
We're
paid
all for
$150,000 by the Yes on 61 campaign.
We're all for Yes.
Let's stop who's backing and who's paying. It's a simple question. EpiPen.
It's a great example.
EpiPen is may determine how this vote goes. Do you understand what I'm saying, Kathy? Talk about that a little bit.
It's what I said earlier. I mean, people are worried and people are frustrated. People are angry. But what is on the ballot is Proposition 61. We don't think it's the answer. The answer may be something a little bit more thoughtful, a broader approach, an opportunity in a public forum where policy is put forward. You can identify flaws, you can identify holes.
We've tried in the legislature. That's not fair, because every time we go to the legislature, and you weren't working for the drug companies then, they've stopped every major reform in the legislature. And I was with an EpiPen mom on Monday of this week, where we were talking about how she is worried because she has to have 3 or 4 EpiPens, and the price went up to $600 per 2-pack from $190 a 2-pack, and she is not going to be able to cover her kids, and she knows people who are worried they won't be able to save them. Now this initiative, Prop 61, will make sure that if you get your EpiPen through Medicaid, it will be reasonably priced for the state, and there'll be enough to go around.
Somebody has to have the last word because it's over. One sentence, go ahead.
It's flawed, and the devil is in the details. I think people are frustrated. This is not the answer.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Kathy Fairbanks, Jamie Court. Thank you for being here.